Four aspects of a model that would help you get a handle on bipolar disorder. And a useful model is this, that if you imagine that within the head we have a thinking wheel, we don't, but just imagine we have. We think at a certain rate. And we accept that rate of thinking. But one of the first things that happen when a person gets depressed is that this thinking wheel slows down. Words won't come to mind. The person has fewer thoughts. They say less in conversation, and they have difficulty projecting their thoughts out into the future. Now, what do I mean by out into the future? If I ask you, what are you doing for a break during the summer? Or what are you doing next weekend? Presuming you're not too depressed, something will come up on the visual display unit in your mind. That very process is weakened or absent during depression. So the person looks at the screen and you ask them, well, what's there? It's bleak, it's blank, or there's nothing there. They're the absolute three terms that people use to describe it. Now, because there's nothing there on the screen, the person then has very little energy, because energy is a figment of our imagination. We see something out there and we pursue it. Obviously, it's in our mind. In other words, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do the other, I have to pack the cases, I have to do this. And we pursue it. So when a person doesn't have something there, or we see a mountain ahead of us on the visual display unit, it has a fatiguing effect. So here you have a person whose thinking is slowed down, who has difficulty taking in information from the world around them. In other words, its thinking process is moving so slowly that it can't take up the individual pieces of information from the world and put one in there, the next one in there, and so on. It can't string things together. So the person can't actually focus on what they are reading. The next point about depression is that when people are depressed, they tend to, when they're not able to project out into the future in that way, they tend to become introspective. And the two aspects of that being introspective. A person can be introspective psychologically, where they have an increasing awareness of everything they do. They feel maybe just self-conscious about their thoughts or self-conscious in the presence of others. For other people, it's a self-consciousness and awareness of their body. In other words, their skin, the colour of their eyes, the size of their ears, a headache that they maybe get from time to time and now grows into, in the person's mind's eye, a tumour. In other words, something very serious. So in other words, what happens is that with this introspection, you've got this hypersensitivity to things. The next thing is that the person